Good afternoon, YouTube. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everybody. Malik Williams. Malik Williams. That's the name of this gentleman here. I just watched him on Love and Hip Hop Miami. My God, what was that all about? I just watched this young male on Love and Hip Hop Miami. Hey, Jakulu, what's up? Good afternoon to you. I just watched this young man in Love and Hip Hop Miami. Let me clean my lenses. Let me clean that up a little bit. Oh my God, I just watched this young male. Good afternoon, Jakulu. DJ Kalalu. I'm sorry, DJ Kalalu. I was calling you the wrong name. Excusez-moi. Mwelo moving on. Yeah, I just watched this Love and Hip Hop Miami. And let me tell you something. Something is going on with you, Malik. You having some emotional, like, you are, my God. Can you believe if you had about 500,000 males just like this guy? Emotionally out of whack. Emotionally unstable, like, wow, like, let me tell you something that I noticed about a lot of the homosexuals. A lot of times, and this is what I've noticed with 99.9% of the homosexuals I know. It's not you, it's them. Like, you can try to because for the people like me, we don't give a damn about what you have sex like. But it's the homosexuals who insist on making themselves different, who insist on bringing the negativity to them, like, because of what they think of themselves inside. This is a guy who thinks not, like, the way that he thinks of himself inside of this guy is a tornado. Inside of this guy is an active volcano. The way that he thinks of himself, like, you can treat this guy, you can treat him no matter how great, he will never take it, because the way that he feels inside about his own self is so destructively insane, so out of logic, so out of whack, so out of center, so out of alignment. Wow. And the faces you made, bitch. Hey. And like, okay, so you're gonna force me to call you a man. You're a boy to me. Emotionally, you're a boy to me, Malik. You're a boy. DJ Kalalu say he think he the shit. Thank you, DJ Kalalu says, I love your voice. Thank you, DJ Kalalu. I have a wonderful voice. I have a much better voice than Wendy Williams. But you know, the network aren't fucking with me. And I'm also glad you're not, because I don't have Wendy's bag. So yeah, he think he's the shit in a way where he wants you to think he's the shit. But the way he thinks of himself truly, when his true thoughts of himself surface, it's a wreck. It's a train wreck. It's an Amtrak wreck. Wow. And so, am I supposed to call you a man? You're a boy to me. A man has control of his emotions. A man has control of his actions. Like, in Love and Hip Hop New York, Jonathan had to tell Richard Hollis, he's a bitch. Like, in that moment, Jonathan is the man. Richard Hollis is the boy. So these people want to use homosexuality to hide the fact that they are unstable males. So it's not about the way you have sex. It's a bunch of unstable males gathered together in a club of unstable males. A bunch of boys in a club of boys. The boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. The boys. It's the boys' club. This is not the men's club. This is an unstable boys' club. At every level, you can try to give a homosexual the most acceptable, loving energy. The homosexual will reject that. Because inside, and I'm speaking of the homosexuals I know, inside of that homosexual, he feels like caca. He feels like doo-doo. He feels like dookie. And it's not about the respect you have for him. It's about you appeasing the way he feels about himself. It's about you getting in the game that he has going on with his own mind, his own self. It's not about us. It's about you. My God, Malik. Miss Ami, if I had a son like you, I don't know what I would do, Malik. The first thing I would do is I would raise you. I would raise you to be emotionally stable. I would try to talk to you and hang out with you as much as I can. Like I try to hang out with my son. It's just that the men in the United States, the men are out of whack. The men, they have negative cliches. They have nigger cliches. The men have a habit of saying a woman can't raise a man. But really, any human can raise any human. Like these males in the United States, they're using labels to throw life out of balance. Because it's them who are out of balance. But because they have these labels like racism, homosexuality, they are using these labels to normalize life out of whack. Your life is out of whack, and you're using homosexuality to make it okay. It's not okay for your life to be so out of whack, for your emotions to be so out of your hands. And then when the males have no grasp on their own emotions, they want to call themselves females. Bitch, females don't act like that. You bitches act like that. Females don't act like these males do, but these males want to call themselves females because they want to destroy femininity as if a woman is somebody who's out of whack emotionally, as if a woman is somebody who's unable to decide, as if a woman is somebody who's unable to function. I don't even know who that is. I'm not going to pick up this phone because I need to focus on this right now. When the men lose control of who they are, the men go to the women's kingdom, to the women's queendom, because it's easier to act like you're a woman when you don't have grasp on your emotions. It's easier to act as if all women are just like you. It's easier to take womanhood and trash it, to act as if women are weak, women are emotionally unstable. But it's you, my nigga, who is emotionally unstable, not womanhood. And you run to homosexuality as a club, as a gang of unstable males, emotionally unintelligent males. You males are emotionally unintelligent. Did you see the face? Oh my God. Did you see? Did you see the faces he made? Oh my God, that is somebody whose mind is rambling. Inside of this boy is an active volcano, and he's out of control. You gotta wonder where his father is. You gotta wonder where his mother is. You gotta wonder where they are and what they did. What happened to this boy that stopped him from growing up? What experience delayed his growth, his emotional growth? Obviously, he grew. But emotionally, he remained in that moment when he was broken. What broke you down, Malik? My God. And the boys, when the boys aren't able to withhold emotional intelligence, they tell you to call them a woman. I cannot call you a woman because women don't act like that. You act like that, and you got a bunch of women following you because these women, they don't have the distinction. They don't have the formula to evaluate properly themselves, just like you. Malik, my God, wow. I don't know what I would do if I had a son like you. I don't know what I would do. That would be, I would take you to Haiti, bitch. That's what I would do. Nicole, Reloaded. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my sister. Nicole, if I had a son like him, I would have to take him to Haiti. Okay, now I'm thinking about what I would do if I had a son like you. Yo, Nicole says, dude is out of pocket. Yo, Nicole, did you see those facial expressions? Malik, he Islam. Tig Evans says, Malik, he Islam. LOL. Yeah, them the Islam. Them the Hebrew Israelite niggas. Them's the lost Jews. Nicole Reloaded says, I need a belt to beat his ass. Nicole, oh man, you need 2 belts because you got to give me one. You can beat the left chick, I'll beat the white chick. If I had a son like him, Nicole, this is what I would do. And I'm only speaking my honest do. If I had a son like him, I would take him to Haiti. Because in my opinion, we have a fragmented spiritual crisis here. I would have to take him back to Haiti, and I would have to take him to my ancestral home with the original Americans, what you call the Indians, and the original West Africans, not the current West Africans. That's the niggas in West Africa, not them niggas in West Africa right now. I'm talking about the bloodline. I would have to take him to the ancestral home with the bloodline, and I would have to call, like in my ancestral home, we can call on ancestors that passed, and I would have to call somebody from 300 years ago to bring him back. Hell yeah, I would bring him back. That's my son. I wouldn't let him be so fragmented. I wouldn't let him be going through so much emotional turmoil. He hates himself. I would have to do spiritual baths. I would have to have the spirits, like my ancestors would come for him. I would have to beg them to come from 300 years, 400 years, 500 years. I would have to beg them to come back with that force to fix him, to heal him, to heal his spirit. It's a spiritual crisis at this moment. Nicole Reloaded says, sis, I was asleep and I woke up with him yelling and screaming. He has issues within himself. Being a gay man, the world don't owe his tail nothing. The world don't owe his tail nothing. And women like you and I, we do not owe him femininity. It's not right for these men to take their issues that they have within their own spirits and to come and pretend to be women when they cannot center themselves. These men are cowards. They don't want to face their own emotional fragmentation. They don't want to face their own spiritual fragmentation. Instead of facing their own issues with their own manhood, because the crisis is in manhood. You know what these motherfuckers do? They come and call themselves women and destroy womanhood. Right now, you got 100 hoes calling themselves hoes because they're watching these niggas calling themselves hoes and they think it's cute. Nicole Reloaded says, if you gay, be gay. Exactly. And what does it mean to be gay anyway? What the hell does it mean? Because let me tell you, I'm from a Haitian culture, and let me tell you, most of the Haitian bitches, they have sex in all ways. These hoes, they gay half the times. The Haitian hoes. The Haitian hoes have sex in the ass, they have sex in the vagina, they have sex in all ways. So who's gay? What does it mean to be gay? Is it just the anal sex? Because if it's the anal sex, half of these Haitian hoes are gay. This is not even a gay issue, and this is where I have to speak, because now he's going to make it appear as if it's a gay issue. It's not a gay issue. Gay is just the sex. Now we're speaking about your spiritual fragmentation. We're speaking about you with your emotional issues. Oh my God, what the was that? Was that a man? Oh boy, that was a boy in crisis. Instead of him accepting himself as a boy in crisis, most of the males like him, they want you to call them she. They want to turn into women because they don't have the courage to accept themselves as boys in crisis, boys who are just suspended in the last trauma. Whatever the last thing that happened to him that damaged him, he's suspended in that trauma and he's not able to come out of it. So these males, they gravitate to womanhood because they have this falsity that women are emotionally unintelligent, that women are emotional. We're not emotional, bitch. We're built tough. We ain't no Fords, but we're just built tough. Like, the men don't have the biological strength to withhold the emotions that women go through. They don't have the biological makeup for that. They don't got the hormones to sustain them. You have to understand that most women who get emotional, they go hysterical. Now it is the males who are hysterical. Yo, Malik, if you were my son, dude, like, I know that I would have to take you back to Haiti. And I would have to leave you there for a while, my nigga. A while, my nigga. Because ain't no way you're going to come back to the USA so shattered. Inside of you, Malik, is an active volcano. Is a tornado. Inside this male, this boy. Instead of these boys working on the boys to become men, they join a club full of other boys just like them, and then they support each other in the fragmentation of their own souls. Yo, if you were my son, my dude, I would have to take you back to Haiti, and I would have to call on my ancestors from 500 years ago. They would have to come back. And the ancestors, they do come back when I do call them, they do. And these ancestors would have to come back and heal you. They would have to work on you for real, like heal you. Whatever of your soul is, they would have to piece it back together. And they do. They would help me. They would help me fix you if you were my son. I would have to go to the end of, like, I would have to go to the end of another dimension for you, my nigga, and find you a cure. I would have to do that because you would be my blood. You know what I mean? I would have to step into the fire of the other dimensions to go get the dead from 500 years ago just to come to this dimension to fix your black ass. That's a lot of work. People don't understand what it means to travel within dimensions. It's not easy. It's not easy to go from the world of the dead to the world of the living. That's hard shit. And if he was my son, I would do that for him. I would go into the land of the dead to get my ancestors to come out for him. Nicole Reloaded says, gay means to be happy. No, it's not a gay issue. It's a spiritual battle, not accepting oneself eternally. Transformation into rage, personal guilt. Yes, personal guilt. You said the magic 2 words. Personal guilt, because he knows he betrayed his mama's womb. He knows, like, it's not even about having sex in the anus. It's just the state of being that he is as he's supposed to be a man, but because he's still a boy, the guilt is enormous. You cannot even pinpoint the guilt because there's so much guilt with this boy. And a lot of the guilt has to do with his mother's womb. You have to understand, people, the umbilical cord that is feeding you while you're in the mother's womb, it doesn't stop. Just because you get born, just because you come out of your mother's vagina and you go from a fetus to an infant, it doesn't mean that connection, that umbilical cord, it don't stop. Let me tell you something. My son, when I used to live in the hood, I had these hood niggas that were bullying my son, and like they got to respect me because each and every time they was about to jump my son, and here I was. And they don't know how I knew. They don't know how I popped up. They don't know how it happened. But at the end of the day, they all got to respect me. Because that umbilical cord, that is a bond between me and my son. And if my son is overly anxious, if he's overly anxious, if he's going through a moment where it's over excess anxiety, the umbilical cord should make me feel it to where I'm reacting and I'm running. And that's exactly what it should happen. So these people, boys like him are going through the trauma, the separation, and the guilt of the umbilical cord. This is the guilt of the umbilical cord. My God. Malik. Kaka. Hey, Blouse and Scott. What go on, boy? Hey, this is a controversy. This is a controversy. Nicole Reloaded says he's pushing his guilt upon everyone. I feel my kid's soul. I am my kid's soul. Yes, Nicole, you are exactly correct. You are absolutely correct. You feel your kid's soul. You are their souls. So he's feeling his mother's soul. That's the guilt. When the mother has a son and the son turns around and betrays your womb, that mother does not forget. Even if she acts like it's okay, she does not forget the betrayal. You will feel the guilt of the umbilical cord. You will. Instead of these males to sit down and to question and to heal themselves, They want to make everybody else pay for it and call you homophobic. God damn, motherfucker, call me homophobic. Call me homophobic so I can go back inside your mother's blouse and skirt room with my knife and fucking and pots and pans. So I can deal with your mama. Because for you to come and accuse me and denigrate a woman like me, for you to have even think that you would be able to call me homophobic, it means that you don't even respect the womb that you came out of. Because I'm a woman who's speaking for you, the logic that you deserve. It doesn't have to be what you want to hear, but it's the logic that you deserve because you are breaking apart, my God, and you worried about your reputation. Bitch, there is no mas. Reputation no mas. Reputation no mas. Yo, I met this cool ass Dominican chick today. We are gonna go to some African club sometimes this week. Yo, I met two cool chicks today. One was Dominican, one was African American, and I'm Haitian. And basically there was some bachata playing. I was having lunch, some bachata was playing. And they're like, oh, you know, bachata, let's go clubbing. And I go. Like, it's nice to meet some nice girls who just want to party and have fun. And they were very cute too. I don't like hanging out with ugly girls like that right here, ugly boys who think they are girls. Oh my God, reputation. Malik, there is no reputation, no mas, no more. Reputation, no more. Like, you're worried about your reputation, but inside of you is lava. Inside of you is an active lava, is active volcano, because you have issues. Okay, something had to happen to him. Nobody gets to be so hurt. Nobody gets to be so traumatized if nothing happened to you. Nicole, or anybody else who's listening, you have to understand that something happened to this boy. This boy is stuck in the trauma of what happened to him maybe 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, maybe 20, but he's stuck in that moment. Nicole Reloaded says, transformation of energy. I'm not God. It is not for me to judge. I fight my own flesh every day. Yes. And that's what it is, transformation of energy. You have to know that you're not God. You have to understand that you don't have the power to make everybody do what you want or make yourself something you're not, because God already created you. So you cannot judge. Well, you know what, Nicole? I judge every day, because you have to judge. You have to use judgment. But you have to judge with logic. You cannot judge people just using what you think of them or what you would want them to be. But you can judge using the logic of Mother Nature. We have to judge using the logic of Mother Nature. Otherwise, we would eat anything. We would do anything. We would become like animals, because we would not have the distinction of instinct. Because you have to understand what separates us, what separates the human being from the animals, are our ability to judge and to make a distinction between what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's evil, what's feasible, what's undoable, what's manageable, and so on and so on. Nicole Reloaded says you can't force what don't fit. You cannot, absolutely, and that's one of the basic rules of logic. You cannot force what don't fit. It's like he's trying to fit into this homosexuality because it's good for business, because, you know, it's a lifestyle that he, maybe something that happened to him that he has to adhere to it. But he doesn't understand that whatever it is, even if he has anal sex, it doesn't mean that you're still a human. You can still, like, okay, a lot of these homosexuals, they don't even understand they have a right to have children normally. You have a right to find there are women out there built for you. Like, you take two homosexuals, a lot of time they get so desperate, they go and literally snatch other people's children from out of nowhere. When if they would really go with the logic of life, you would understand there's a woman out there for you. There's a woman who's looking for two homosexuals just like you to give you a baby. And all you would have to do is to find it and to know that you have a right. You have Mother Nature owes you. You have a sperm. You're supposed to have that baby. You're supposed to go have sex with that bitch and make her pregnant, and then call that your baby. Not go and snatch somebody else's. So when you go in the United States, because these people are using homosexuality, they are losing logic, because all they want to do is focus on the club, because they know there is no reason to have such a label as homosexuality, because we can all have anal sex if we wanted to. Nicole Reloaded says, I use logic and wisdom from experience. Exactamente pronto. The world is about logic and wisdom, but these people, they don't want to use logic, because you have to understand they are brave, but only brave in a certain way. Like me, like when I imagine like taking another man and shoving, like I don't have any desires to have a penis, but if I were to have a penis, if I was to take that penis and shove it inside another man's anus, for me that's one of the most courageous thing another man can do, because it's so disgusting. It is for me, not for them. For me, it is like to even think of like that space just being so stink and just being so dark. Like for me, for somebody to do that, it takes a lot of courage. So for me, a man to have anal sex with another man, that takes a lot of courage for me. I think so. But that courage, is it courage that you could be using for something else, or to channel that courage, like channel that courage differently? Because when you are plunging your penis into another man's anus, at that moment you are controlling that man who's under you. But that's where the courage goes, because in the real life there are other things that you can do in real life to compete with those males and to show your masculinity. Tigevin says, nah, it means you're a bitch. The man who's on top, he doesn't feel like a bitch. The man who's on top, because he has control of another man, he feels like the Don Juan DeMarco. All right? He's Don Juan DeMarco, because at that moment, you see him, the moment he lost control of that man, do you see how he fell apart? Because he lost control of another man. He lost power over that man. For that moment, it was a rage. Oh my God. Malik. Like, for me, that's like when a man gets on top of another man and he's controlling that man and he's plunging his penis inside that anus, for me at that moment, it's like a thin line between sexuality and dominance. It's a thin line between submissiveness and bitch-assness. It's a thin line. And it crosses back and forth. It crosses back and forth, because 1 minute you're a bitch, 1 minute you're a coward, 1 minute you're courageous, 1 minute you're something else. Tigevin says, very rarely do they only pitch. Them dudes take it though. Take it too. Like, that power is a fear of utilizing that power in the real world. That's what I'm noticing with a lot of the homosexuals. It's a fear of utilizing that power in the real world. Meaning, instead of jumping on another man's back and to show how powerful you are, there are other ways in the real world where men used to compete. But because of the Western invasions, those ways are done. They have taken away the normal ways, the logical ways for men to dominate one another, for men to compete and control one another. Because at the end of the day, this is an animal kingdom where one animal will dominate another animal. But the way that these males are choosing to dominate one boy, dominate another boy, it's not working out, because emotionally they are falling apart, they are fragile. Nicole Reloaded says he's angry that he was forced to come out and he feels played again. I feel in my spirit that this young man was forced into something as a young boy, to do something that he didn't desire to do once again. Bravo. Bravo. Yes. Yes. Yes, Nicole, yes. Because maybe you didn't hear what she said. Listen to this. She says he's angry that he was forced to come out and he feels played again. Nicole says, I feel in my spirit that this young man was forced into something as a young boy, to do something that he didn't desire to do once again. Yes, that's the trauma. He's still living in that trauma. Tigevin says, I get rid of crews around me. I don't like that energy. I'll do biz with them though. LOL. Well, honey, you can't have your cake and eat it, and Judy. You want the cake, you want to eat it, and you want Judy. Yes, Nicole, it's the trauma. He's still living in that traumatic moment where he was forced to do something, and then again, he's forced to do it again, and we can see that rage coming out. My God. He needs more than therapy. He needs spiritual therapy. Like I said, if this was my son, I would have to cross to another dimension to go find healing for him. I would have to go into the land of the dead to bring my ancestors from 500 years, 200 years, so they can come and heal him, because his spirit is so broken. His spirit is so fragmented. Do you know that when you rape these young boys, when these young boys get raped, when they are 4 or 5 years old, they begin to have multiple personalities at that age. And that is like a lot of times when these pedophiles, when they want to damage children, they rape these children at 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. They fragment their personalities. Nicole says a tormented soul. Tig Evans says personal and business is different. Okay, for you it may be. So this is a fragmented soul. This is somebody with a multiple. He has multiples. And that other boy, that boy who was traumatized, just came out on TV. Wow. And he was worried about his brand. He was worried about his clients. Boy. He just lost it all. If that's what he was worried about, then he just lost it all. If that was it, then it's done. It's a done deal. Oh, I dare any of you homosexuals call me homophobic so I can go into your mama's belly with my pots and pans and knife and fork. Because for you to even insult me that way would be that you don't even know the makeup of your own mama. A lot of these boys, their mamas were ratchet little hoes too. Like when you have a son, you really have to take time to talk to your son and to really, really invest time into the development of your sons. These are the males that are supposed to keep up our societies, that are supposed to keep up the family unit. But when these males are broken down like boys, what are we supposed to have as family unit? When you look at a lot of these homosexual boys, they go and snatch other people's children. You homosexuals, you're supposed to know how to have your own biological children. You're supposed to be able to live as you wish. Don't make everybody else pay because you're living within your own mental discomfort. Nicole Reloaded says, my daughters are tormented soul and I'm fighting for them. This young man made me get on my knees and pray. Yes! When you watch a boy act like that, you will get on your knees and pray. God, heal us all. God, heal him. God, heal him. Oh, God, today, me and my sister Nicole, we come to you. We come to you because you say when 2, 3 of us are gathered, here you are, God. I know the Spirit of the Lord is within us, between us, all around us. We are asking you to go to Malik Williams, to go heal his spirit, heal his soul. Show him that he's a full human with 2 hands, 2 legs, 10 fingers, 10 toes. He's complete. Allow him to accept himself as a complete man. Allow him to love himself as he is. Allow him to forgive himself. Whatever happened to him as a boy, it happened to him as a boy. It was out of his control. He didn't do anything wrong. Somebody wronged him. Allow him to make the distinction between the person who hurt him and him not able to fight back at that moment, to defend himself at that moment. Forgive yourself, my son. Forgive yourself. I forgive you. Forgive yourself. The world forgives you. I love you. Love yourself back the way I love you, the way God loves you, Malik. Malik, today I pray for you. I pray for you. Oh my God, I never pray for anybody. Wow. Wow, you're some lucky bastard. You're a lucky son of a bitch. Nicole Reloaded says, Tig Evans says, I feel girls who are part-time is way different than men who are. Nicole Reloaded says, their father was raped as a boy. He doesn't even want his own daughters to become women. My daughters, God, Jesus, help us. Wow, what's going on, Nicole? Is the father abusing the girls? Or is he abusing them physically, or is it a verbal, or is it just an emotional neglect? Because the emotional neglect is even worse. But you know, like prayers are good, but you also have to do rituals. You also have to cleanse these people's souls with baths and healings and salts and different herbs, different mentally. The mental abuse is even worse, my sister. The mental abuse is even worse. Take it from me, my sister. I've been there. I've been there in situations where I was mentally abused. And it took me the courage of a woman to forgive myself, to heal myself. And let me tell you, and I'm telling you this, you can do some baths. You can do some good aroma, like what I'm trying to pronounce this word properly. Aromatherapy, that's the word, that's how you pronounce it. Not aromatherapy like I was about to say, but aromatherapy. Like Nicole Willow says, gaslighting abuses. my sister, you could, like, aside from the prayers, you got to do the baths. You got to do the healing baths. You got to do the active spiritual works, because prayers alone won't make it. Prayers alone won't happen it. You got, because the body is a solid mass. You got to clean that mass. You got to cleanse the spirit within that mass actively, physically. Go in and cleanse that. Otherwise, the work is not done. Tig Evans says, I just bought an African wooden idol. She's on her knees, not sure what to attach to her. Well, honey, this is the time where you have creative license. Go for it. Go and do it. Like, if Jeffrey was my son, not Jeffrey, I'm sorry, if Malik was my son, I would definitely have to take him to the ancestral home. And I'm privileged to have an ancestral home, because this is the home that belonged to my ancestors from thousands of years and hundreds and thousands of years. And I have that home with all their artifacts and all. Like, I'm privileged to have that. But somebody like Malik may have it or may not. I don't know what his ethnicity is. But if he was my son, I would definitely take him, and I would definitely have to petition my dead ancestors to come back and heal him, because the dead can do that job. Like, when your spirit is so broken and fragmented, you are at the mercy of the dead most of the time. The dead is going to have to go and find those pieces and put them back for you. And people don't understand. And this is why the African American community is so weak, because they don't understand the power of their dead. And because the people who are dead, when they were living, they were banal. They didn't live actively. So when they become dead, they become nothing to their children, to these African Americans who have to keep going without the power of the ancestral force, because these people, when they were alive, they were inactive. So when they became dead, they remain inactive. So they cannot be there for the African Americans. Most of their deads are not active. So because I have that active dead, I would say my dead soldiers, I would have to petition my dead soldiers to come back and with the pieces that are missing, and to put it back on him. And they would. He would have to remain in some, he would have to get cleansed all the way. But within a good 7-day healing, within the moment, I would have to leave him there, leave him in Haiti for a few months, just so he can, flush all those metals, all those things out of his system, to get him back to where his spirit is healed. And they would do it. My ancestors would come and do it, but I would have to go into another dimension to heal him if he was my son, and I would do it for him. I would do it for him. Malik, therapy is not going to be able to help you. You're going to have to talk to yourself every day. And you're going to have to make yourself understand how much you forgive yourself. You got to get rid of the guilt. If you are having guilt of the womb, that means you are, whatever it is that you are fitting into, you're not yourself. Those are the moments when people have guilt of the womb. Because you are going into a mold, you are going into this container, and it's not fitting for you. So you're going to have to really go back to basics. You're going to have to really be honest with yourself. Tig Evans says, yes, it's wonderful having free will. And he says, my son wouldn't survive if he was that way. Well, like me as a mother, having my children, I know that I'm loving my children no matter what they do and no matter what. But this issue is not an issue of homosexuality. This is an issue of someone who's emotionally fragmented, who's running to the homosexual club for cover. He needs to deal with his emotional issues. He needs to deal with that trauma that got him so out of whack. He needs to deal with that. And that's what a lot of these boys do. Instead of dealing with the trauma that got them suspended in a state of boyhood, because you are staying forever as a boy. You're not growing up as a man. Instead of a lot of these boys, instead of understanding that they are in a state of boyhood, you know what they do? They run to womanhood to destroy womanhood. Stop doing that. Take account. Be accountable for what you are and accept yourself. Love yourself as you are. Nicole Reloaded says, there are spirits in my babies. They are right. They need to have a physical, spiritual cleansing. Our ancestors are in heaven working for God. Jesus waiting on us. You to call for help. The blood of Jesus. By the fact that you say the blood of Jesus alone, it's like a lot of times I hear people say the blood of Jesus, but people do not understand what it means to call on blood. When you're calling on blood, it's a lot. It's a heavy. This is big magic. Big magic. Like the moment that you're involving the blood, you're in the world of magic. The whole world is about magic. The whole world. And then it's different realms of magic. It's different realms of magic. But when you have the blood involved, you're talking sacrifice. You're talking something that may even be satanic. So a lot of times when I hear people talk about the blood of Jesus, I'm afraid that they scare me. Because then because of my knowledge of that realm, whenever I hear the blood of Jesus, I get a little bit scared because I feel like we're all going satanic on me. Because whether it's the blood of Jesus or whether it's the blood of an animal, whether it's the blood of another human, it still is a sacrifice. It still is something more like demonic. It's going into another realm. The realm of the dimensions of magic are many, and then it's easy to cross dimensions. Like me, my ancestral lineage, we are the original people of the world. We call the magic, the healing that we do is franc. We call it means franc. It means frank, meaning it's just from Mother Nature to us. That's one lineage of the magic. But then you have other dimensions of the magic where the minute you're dipping into the blood and you dip into that, you're no longer into the frank world of magic. This is another dimension of magic. And that's why a lot of African Americans, they get hurt. Because they are dipping and dapping into different dimensions of magic and they want to call it Jesus. It's not. It's not. It is another dimension of magic that you're going into. And then you bring in all these... A lot of times these people, they go to church and they bring demons to their children. And these demons attack their children. And the demons stay on their children. Sometimes the demons go in the family and the demons... But they're bringing it from the church. They're bringing it from another place that... Like I have a friend of mine who was a Mason. Oh my God, so many demons took him. He ended up in jail too. And he thought he could hurt me. Like if I wasn't strong... If I was in a spiritual powerhouse, that motherfucker would have hurt me. He would have hurt me, y'all. He was a Mason. And so you see the bigger guys in the Mason, when they have these little demons to dish, they dish it to the smaller guys that are just coming, the smaller guys who want to be down. Because it is when they do that they can elevate. And this guy was dealing with so many demons. He was coming from the Mason lodge with those demons. And the demons wanted to suck me dry. They were attacking me. The last words I said to him, I said, you know what? These demons, they're going to turn up. I'm returning them back to you. Whatever those attacks that's been coming to me, I returned them back to him, and I returned it back inside his mother's vagina. Because it wasn't me who drank the Kool-Aid. I would not be pissing red. I didn't drink the Kool-Aid. I would not be pissing red. Yeah, a lot of these people, when they go to these churches and they go to these different 5%ers, Hebrew Israelites, the different clubs, they bring home the devil, but they don't want to understand that it's them who brought home the devil. Like me, I don't want to dip and dabble into no blood ritual, whether it's the blood of Jesus or the blood of nothing. I don't want nothing to do with that. Nicole Reloaded says, when Jesus died on the cross and he shed his blood for our sin. Not mine, honey. I don't even know who the fuck that is. No evil. The Bible says if you plead the blood of Jesus, demons have to flee. Nicole, you have to understand the logic. I know that you've been trained in this biblical thought, but you have to understand the logic of blood. Whenever you have blood involved, you're talking sacrifice, you're talking demons, you're talking... Yo, you're no longer in the world of just simple. Whenever you bring in blood, it gets complicated, man, nigga. It gets complicated. And whenever you're dealing with blood, there are going to be consequences. There's going to be switch and swap. Things are going to happen, and you got to be able to account for those things. Just like the Bible does not teach you how to live. The rules that are in the Bible, they're just but so little. It's Mother Nature who teaches you how to live. Like the magic that my ancestors practiced, it's called franc magic. That's what we call it because it's not associated with any other rituals. It's just the magic of the ancestors. But you have to understand that there are so many other type of magics, including blood magic. Once you start going into whether it's the blood of Jesus, the fact that you think another human can die for you is absurd. That's numero uno. You and I, Nicole, I don't know if we have the same ancestry, because I know a lot of the African Americans, they have Hebrew ancestries. They may know about Jesus. They probably know about him. I don't know who that nigga is. My ancestors are American Indians and West African Indians. West African originals. They're not even, you see the West Africans you see now that are calling themselves Nigerian, not these niggas. My ancestors were these niggas' ancestors before them, the originals. So, when you're dealing with that type of bloodline, like, we don't want to shed that blood for no reason. Like, when you're dealing with that type of ancestry, we also don't know who Jesus is because we're from a different part of the world than where he came from. We have our own history. We have our own folklores. And the rules that we follow are the rules of Mother Nature, not the rules of the Bible, because the rules of the Bible, they're not always logical. But just so you know, for the sake of you and your children, when you start dealing with blood, there are sacrifices. Things are being swapped. So when you start calling on the blood of anything, my sister, please be careful. Because when you start calling on the blood of Jesus, the blood of this, that's dangerous. Me, that scares me. Because that means I'm going into another dimension. Just like when you go in the land of the dead, you go into another dimension. When you go into blood rituals, that's even more dangerous than the land of the dead. Can you believe it? When you're dealing with blood sacrifices, that's even more dangerous. So when you're looking at the African American community, that is a community that is taking the burden, the spiritual burden of so many other communities. Let me explain something to you. Look at an organization like the NAACP. That's the majority of the spiritual crisis in the African American community, economic crisis. It stems from that. You have to understand the NAACP is like a Jewish reject. So okay, let's say I'm a Jewish person right now and I had a headache. At the end of the year, let's say I spent the whole year where I had a headache, I had stomachache, I had lupus. At the end of the year, I'm going to do a ceremony. And in that ceremony, I'm going to wash all of those ailments with money, clothes, everything. And I'm going to borrow that money, clothes, and I'm going to dish it and I'm going to throw it away. And the people they give it to are the African American communities. They give it to the thrift shops. They give it to you in donations. That's why all these African American people who are supposed to be leaders, they are greedy little fuckers asking for donation money. But when they take that donation, they don't know that they're taking it. This was a cleansing sacrifice, and you're taking the sacrifice as a gift. Maybe I shouldn't tell you motherfuckers so much, dog. Maybe I shouldn't. Because that is the truth of what's happening to my African American brothers and sisters. They don't understand how much of other people's baggage they are taking on. Even the hair that you buy, before that hair is sent to be processed, the women who donate that hair, the women who sell them, before they give off that hair, they perform a ritual where any ailment they might have had that year. That's why you see some nations prosper and some nations don't prosper. I'm going to explain to you. Before they give up that hair, Sister Nicole, before they give up that hair, because don't forget these women are growing that hair and they're going to give it up to turn into bundles. Let's say you're in India. Before this woman cut off that hair, she performs a ritual. Whatever ailment she had, she's going to let it go in the hair. It's a sacrifice. And that hair is carrying that ailment. That hair is a sacrificial hair, and you put it on your head. It's touching your shoulders. It's touching your neck. It's touching your back. All that. But that is somebody else's sacrifice that they ditch unto you. Because I really want to teach slow. I don't want to say too much and scare off my African Americans brothers and sisters. Nicole Reloaded says, sis, you have feedback on your vocal static. Thank you. I'm going to put it down. Is it still feedback? Please let me know. I usually don't do live on my phone. When I went to get the iPad, my kids didn't charge it. It was dead. Nicole Reloaded says, you're right about the hair. I pray over my hair I purchase. It doesn't matter if you pray over it. The thing about it is that the DNA is still laced. It's still laced. Like, okay, the Jewish people finished doing their sacrifice over the money, over like at the end of every year, and I promise you that at the end of every year, these people collectively, they do sacrifice. They wash all their sins away. They wash it off with the money. Whatever ailment, diseases, whatever they had, they bring new clothes, nice stuff, and they pack it up and they send it to the thrift shops. And then the money is donated to these charities, these NGOs. They get all these diseases. You get all these problems, all these anxieties, all this lack of consciousness. You get zombified. Because a lot of the spirits, when those spirits come on you, they occupy you like a zombie. People don't understand. Like, you could be a human. You could look at yourself in the mirror, but on your shoulders, sitting on your shoulders could be 4 different zombies that you don't know. Sometimes you want to wake up to go take care of your business and you feel heavy. You feel so lazy, so heavy. You don't know what force is keeping you down. For you, it's how you feel, but you don't see a force actually with hands on you keeping you down. And it happens that way. I wish you the best, Malik Williams, because I'm going out of topic right now. Malik Williams, I wish you the best. If you were my son, I would go to the end of the world for you. I would go to the other dimensions to find the fragmented parts of you and to bring them back to you. I wish you to go into yourself, as brave as you are to perforate another man's anal canal with your penis. That's brave. So be brave enough to go into your fragmentation. Go into the trauma and tell your mother what happened. Tell somebody who should have been protecting you what happened, and tell yourself what happened, and tell yourself that you were just... Yeah, the static started coming, Nicole. The static started coming because my phone falls down a lot. Like, this is a phone I recently bought. The phone has fallen, and I have a case. I don't know why I never like cases, but this phone has fallen down so many times, and that's when the static started happening for me. But I won't stay too long. I really do thank you, Nicole, for stopping by and participating. I thank you, Tig Evans. I thank DJ Kalalu. I thank you guys. It's 4 other people that have not spoken. I do thank you for watching this live. I hope that I helped you just a little bit, Malik. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you were able to laugh with us, because laughter will also take you through this journey. And my sister Nicole, I hope that I was able to shed a little bit of light, and I hope that you can find some sort of just actively start cleansing the girls. Because a lot of times our children, like I have daughters, and a lot of times my daughter will tell you, a lot of times I have to cleanse my daughter, because she comes from school, she goes interact, and she comes here with the most negative energy, and a lot of time I have to chase that fucker out of the house. We have to keep chasing these negative energies out of our house, away from our children, away from our men, away from what our wealth, what we respect, what we love. Nicole Willoughby says, I respect your stance on life. I respect yours as well, my sister. Nicole says, how do I cleanse them? Tig Evans says, your God and Jesus lies. Nicole, I would have to do another live, because I would have to be getting out of 4 daughters. My God, you're a rich woman. You're a rich woman. 4 daughters, that's rich. You know, I would like to have 4. I would like to have like 3 more kids. Maybe even, like, if I could have 3 sets of twins, 3 sets of twins, make it 6. I don't know why, but I do like having kids. When I had my kids, I was so young. I was so scared. My grandmother took care of the kids. I really didn't know what to do. But now that I have a clue, I would like to give it a try. You know, it's really beautiful to have children. Congratulations on your 4 daughters. Nicole says that she has a son. Who's older, the sons or the daughters? Who's the oldest? My son is the oldest. And my daughters are Irish twins. Okay, Nicole. Yeah, Nicole, Nicole says, I want a son. Oh, okay, you don't have a son yet. Oh, no sons. Okay. Yeah, I do have a son. I would like to have 3 more sons. I would like that. Because I don't know. I just want another chance to hold them longer. Like, to breastfeed a little longer. Like, I don't know. I just feel so maternal in this moment. My God, you are blessed, honey. You got 20, 18, 15, 5. You are blessed. That is a lot of, that is your riches. When you have children, your children are supposed to be your wealth, your riches. Nicole says, I want 1 more. Nicole, I want 3 more. I have 3, you have 4. So you want 1 more, then you have 5. I want 3 more, then I have 6. It's just a feeling. It's not like something that I want. It's just the feeling inside of me. The energy inside of me wants to be maternal. I don't know why. Tig Evans says, you will get it, Lahini. Thank you, Tig Evans. I love you, honey. Thank you for always coming to support me. Tig Evans says, then Nicole says, then give me 1. I got 2 girls, Nicole. I only have 1 son. So when I have the 3 more sons, I'll give you 1. Nicole says it's the energy in her too. Yeah, like a lot of us women will get to a point in our lives where we will feel so maternal. It's not up to us. And this is what the men cannot understand when they want to pretend to be women. There are things that happen within our physiology that we have no control over. It's just that those are that's the woman's clock, a woman ticking, it's just, you can't hear it. It's that Rolex. We're just that type of Rolex. You know what I mean? You can't hear it, you can't see it, but it's still ticking, Yeah, Nicole, I do have, my phone number is public, Nicole. You can contact me and I will share with you the type of ingredients you can use to cleanse the young women. It's very easy, and you will be relieved to see how easy and natural. It's just everyday food, everyday normal ingredients, everyday flowers, everyday herbs. And it really means a lot, because you have to understand, as a human being, I want you to spend a day, and what I'm about to say, I'm going to finish after that. As a human being, I want you to do this. Try spending a day where you don't bathe, or try spending a few hours where you don't put on any deodorant. And then you will begin that you have a scent. We each have a distinctive scent. And that's why you have to cleanse, because a lot of time your scent become corrupted because of the energy around you. The energy around you, it corrupts your scent. All right, Nicole says, hit me up. Sorry, let me write it down. My email, let me write yours down real quick. Matter of fact, let me take a screenshot of it, because once I finish the live, all of your comments go away. Let me take a screenshot, and then my number is public, because I do have a business and it's public. My number, Nicole, is 347. I'll give you my number now. It's 347. I don't want to give it on YouTube, even though it's public. YouTube is just another dimension. I'll email it to you, and I can share with you those things. Or I'll have to do another live on just how to cleanse, or what to use to cleanse. So I'll have to consider doing that. Yeah, I won't say it, Nicole. So I do thank you guys who came to watch and who participated and who, hung out with me. It made it so much more fun. But yeah, Malik Williams, you need healing, my man. You need healing. I have a podcast. My podcast is called Black Men Tonic. Last week I didn't upload my podcast yet, but last week's podcast was about Dr. G from Married to Medicine. So I'm gonna have to do 2 podcasts for Black Men Tonic. I'm gonna have to do one for Dr. G again, and then one for you, Malik. And it's gonna just be focusing on healing yourselves as males. You really have to heal, dear. I wish you the best, Malik. And you are worried about your clients, honey. If that's what you were worried about, your behavior, your lack of emotional intelligence, ruined it. If that's what the worry was, then, you did it. You ruined your own self. That's all I could say. Nicole says, Sir, Dr. G is a man hurt. Yeah, Dr. G is a man hurt. And so last week I did a podcast where I was really sharing with him a little bit about healing from that point, because he's been hurt by a cat. This is a man who's married to a cat gal. This is a man who's married to Felix the cat. You know what I mean? So when you're a man, or you're a real man, and you're married to Felix the cat, you're gonna get hurt, So I did do a little podcast last week, and my podcast is blackmentonic.com. Like, if you want to log in on the website. I'm going to start promoting the podcast more. It's just, this month was a lot. It was a lot going on. February was a whole lot. And February is so short and so much. Nicole says, I have a gift. I can see things, feel things. Well, my dear, let your gift lead you to the right healing for your children's spirit. Like I said to you, I have my own daughter here. My own daughter, I have to heal her, I have to cleanse her a lot, because she comes home with so much trash from the outside world. So a lot of times she has to get cleansing baths. She has to get into her own prayers, into her own healing. Because the one thing that I don't want my daughters to be 20 years old and to have to deal with their father's demons. So at that age, I invite my children to deal with all of their demons, so they can heal right now. You don't need to take anything into the future. The future is for the progress. The future is for the gifts of the future, not for the traumas of the past. Nicole says, I support you. Thank you, Gio. I do have a donation button. You can feel free to donate. T. Gavin says, some women get emptiness syndrome when their kids are about to leave and want more. Oh, man. I don't know what it is, Tig, but I do know that I feel so maternal. It's so funny. When I see babies love me. Like the other day I saw my friend's baby. Oh my God, he was so cute. Oh, big shout out to you, Ray. And Ray, she had and then she had the best baby too, because when you pick up that boy and you can feel this is a strong boy. Like when you pick up a baby and the baby kicks his feet and holds his waist together, holds his head, and the baby is kicking these little feet, and you can tell this is a strong boy. Like, And this is gonna grow up to be a strong, like the whole energy, the whole feeling is just so amazing from you. And the babies love me. When babies hear my voice, they want to know where that beautiful voice is coming from, and they turn their heads back and forth looking for me. I just love the whole thing. I just love the whole thing. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's just the feeling, it's just the energy. So Malik, you're not my son, and I don't have those energies for you, dear. However, I do have love for you, and I do have concern for you, and I do send you love, and I want you to take all the love I send you and all the love our sister sent you, our sister Nicole sent you, all the love. I want you to take it and to use it for healing. Forgive yourself. It's okay. Whatever. Let me tell you, whatever happened to you in the past. Like I have a friend of mine who was raped when he was young. He was raped by his own cousin when he was young. And let me tell you, what I advise for him to do is to go kill his cousin, because that's my friend. You see what I mean? That's my friend. And the way that I see that my friend is suffering, the way that I see that my friend is suffering, the only thing I know would make him get better is if he went to kill the cousin. And because that's my friend, I can tell him that, because I know more of what happened. So I can give you advice, Malik. Nicole says the pain in him is taking his inner power. Yes, the pain is so much in him, and it's taking so much of his inner power. You got to have, like, if it's a conversation that you gotta have with the person who hurt you, if you gotta face that person back to take back that power, do it, Malik. Alright guys, I do thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful, wonderful end of the day. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your spirits, take care of your spiritual growth, take care of your pain. Make sure that you can dissolve your pain. Make sure you can put water into your wine to cool off your pain. Alright guys, have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye bye. Blessings, Nicole. Thank you for stopping by.